We had somebody say that they liked our show. Some guy in
Were they being sarcastic?
No. He's in Scotland.
Scotland. I love the Scots. Oh, freedom. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Why do they yell that? I don't understand.
That's from Braveheart?
Oh, is it?
What the hell, Dan?
What's
What
wrong?
are you, nuts? Went to Scotland for our honeymoon. I don't know if you remember that. We got burgled in our Airbnb.
Did you? I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember? Yeah. We went out for the day. Totally our fault, by the way. We're pretty sure because there was a balcony door or a patio door, I guess is the right word, that locked, but it locked weird. And you had to like turn the handle up or something. I don't know. But we went outside in the morning and I think we didn't lock it all the way. And we left and we came back, tried to open the main door and the chain was on. And we're like, well, that's weird. How would we have put the chain on? And like, it took me a couple seconds to be like, oh shit, someone's in the house and they're burglaring us. And then I saw someone run by to the back patio. So I left my wife, which is you never do that. Listen, guys, don't leave your wife. But I left my wife and ran after the guy. And he was just way faster than me. So he got away and then he took all our stuff. He took my Pokemon Diamond, which I had put like 200 hours into, and he stole my Nintendo DS. I was livid. Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! Hey, watch him! With Dan and Tony! It's like watching, yeah!
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I am Dan.
I'm Tony.
And we're the guys that watch the movies that are not that old and then offer our barbed critiques of said movies.
Barbed? As in like with little barbs like roses?
Barbs. A barb is like, like, this is bad. This is bad. You
jab
away. Yeah,
Got
so jabs and barbs.
Jabs and bobs.
And this week, Tony got to pick a movie, a fairly contemporary movie. Tony, why don't you tell a little bit about that movie?
Well, this debuted last year at the Toronto International Film Festival, and just to disastrous response. People walked out of the movie, the screening. Really? People were like mocking it in the movie theater. I watched some interviews of people that were there, and they were like, "This is the weirdest professional experience of my life." It is. For some reason, it's so hated. There were reviews saying it's the worst movie that's premiered at a real film festival in the past, 20 years. People hate it. It is, of course, Chris Pine's directorial debut, Poolman.
2023, hour and 40 minutes.
Nice and tight.
Did he write this?
He co-wrote it, I believe. I believe he had a partner, but yeah. Yeah, he was in all facets of it.
The problem with this movie is it's very simple. What the problem with this movie is, it wants to be a Coen Brothers movie. That's it.
And here's what I agree. That is exactly right. But my counterpoint to that point is that the Coen Brothers are overrated garbage. And so I actually prefer this movie to everything they have ever done. But I agree with you. Most people, when they're looking at it, are like, well, this is just, it's a ripoff of Lebowski. It's a ripoff. You know what I mean? Like, there's a couple of things that it's, and I, on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, but like The Big Lebowski, horrible film. Hate it. It's not a horrible film. I do hate it. I think, personally, to me, it's trash. It's unwatchable. I hate that movie. This movie, totally watchable.
Now, do you hate Fargo?
I have a very strong dislike for Fargo. However, it stems from the Minnesotan in me, which is like, first of all, Fargo, not even Minnesota, right? And they blur these state lines that should never be crossed, and it bothers me. I don't know why. So I'm anti-Fargo for that reason. Only seen it once. Only thing I remember is the terrible accent and a wood chipper. Those are the only two things I remember from Fargo.
There is a wood chipper.
However, the TV show, good.
Do they blur the lines in the TV show, Tony?
Yeah, but I'm kind of, 20 years ago, it's like, because they're basing it on the movie that already did it. So it's not their sin that they're committing. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. So they're allowed to do that sin now because you're not the young buck you once were with your anger.
It's like double jeopardy, right? Like you can't be charged for the sins of the crime committed before,
Oh, so since
is that
this
what
movie,
double jeopardy is? I feel like that's what it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's kind of what double jeopardy means. You can't be tried for a crime you've already been tried for.
Yeah, which is I'm obviously bending that a little bit, but it was close.
Yeah, so they, if you get acquitted of murder of someone, they can't just keep trying you again and again and again for that same murder to try and get the outcome that the prosecutor wants.
For sure.
So no, you were using it wrong.
But like close. I was within the realm of double jeopardy.
I don't think there's a word for that. Okay, so you hate the Coen Brothers. Raising Arizona? You didn't like Raising Arizona? Nick Cage?
So I do like Raising Arizona, but I think it's only because of Nick Cage. Wait a second. Only because of Nick Cage.
Wait a second. Raising Arizona. There's a number of other people. John Goodman. Yeah. The two brothers that crawl out of the prison. You like him? Holly Hunter? You didn't like her in the movie? Wow, listen to you, Holly Hunter. Oh,
yeah, I don't know. But let's go down the list, right? Fargo, we talked about. Big Lebowski's trash. Oh, brother, where art thou? I hate that movie. I hate it so much.
Such a good movie.
Lady Killers, blech, awful.
It was
worst Tom Hanks movie ever, right? No Country for Old Men, boring. Oh, I did like Burn After Reading. That was fun.
No Country for Old Men?
I don't like that movie.
With what's his name? Sugar? Is that you didn't like that movie?
I don't know. I've only seen all of these once.
Wow.
Except for Burn After Reading. Brad Pitt's fun. J.K. Simmons is fun. I like that movie. Inside Llewyn Davis is very, very personal film. That made me cry a lot. Hail Caesar, garbage. Absolute trash. And the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. What a waste of time. Just awful. Yeah. So I think they're overrated. I don't think they're very talented. I don't like anything they do. Anyhow, so Poolman.
Wow.
Here's the difference.
So this is a movie that is completely based on the oeuvre of the Coen Brothers, and they've created this movie, which is attempting to do what the Coen Brothers movie does,
but it's not.
And Tony likes it
because here's why: the Coen Brothers dripping with cynicism. That's like their thing, right? It's all about, and Poolman is the opposite. Poolman is the Big Lebowski without cynicism. He's not. He is pure joy, right? Like he's a simple, happy guy. He's not. He doesn't have that negativity that the Coen Brothers bring to everything, and that was the difference to me. It's like it's the Coen Brothers, but what if they weren't miserable douchebags?
Well, that's what this is all about.
I'm not sure why. I apologize.
That's what this is all about.
I'm sure they're very lovely gentlemen. I apologize.
Tony wants to walk into the cinema and lower himself into a warm bath and be lovingly cradled by the movie.
Why wouldn't you want to see a movie about joy? You know what I mean? One of my favorite movies, Fired Up, pure joy.
I thought that was about a couple of pervs.
Yeah, but they're happy pervs.
Oh, okay.
They're living their dream, man. They're going to cheer camp and scoring with hot, hot ladies.
Oh, just think, we already did that movie, and I'll never have to watch that movie again. That makes me warm inside.
Makes you sad. You miss it. You should watch it again.
Probably not. Although there were a lot of attractive ladies in that movie. So this movie, it's someone that has watched the Coen Brothers and is trying to do it. And the other thing is, The Big Lebowski, I think, is a take on The Big Sleep, which is a movie you've never seen.
I've never even heard of it.
Just as this movie is a take on Chinatown.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen Chinatown?
I mean, I saw Chinatown probably in college, probably for
okay.
You know what I mean?
So you have seen it.
I've seen it, not since. And I will say that I appreciate that they tell you over and over that this is like a love letter to Chinatown.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a choice. It's something.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just talk about this movie.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I've already been mean and now we should be nice.
Yeah. We meet our guy. His name is Darren or Dar. He is Chris Pine with long hair and a beard and a lot of weird outfit choices. He lives in a trailer on the lot of a motel that has a pool, and then he is sort of obsessed personally with that pool, sort of.
Yeah. Now, is he the man? Not the manager, but the handyman of the hotel? Maybe
no.
It's confusing.
Yeah.
Why he's there and why? Like, is he the pool man, or has he dubbed himself a pool man? You know,
I think they let him be the pool man.
Sure, okay. Yeah, sure. But that doesn't really make you a pool man. You know what I mean?
You would have expected him to do a few more pools in this movie.
Yeah, like if that was your job, I would. Yeah. I would expect that. Yeah, because one pool cleaning doesn't pay for shit. You got to be cleaning 2-3 pools a day to make a living as a pool man.
He doesn't have a lot of overhead.
How much does the land cost to live at the motel?
Nothing.
Oh, you think so?
His girlfriend's the manager of the motel, so
Susan is the manager of the hotel.
Yeah, his girlfriend.
Okay.
I mean, they say that in this movie that you say you were watching.
Whoa.
But you may have been watching a very different movie.
There's cynicism happening already. You're bringing too much of it into the pool man. Pool man, joyful.
Yeah, was it?
I was a little confused for a lot of the movie.
This movie and like The Big Sleep and like Chinatown, you're kind of confused as to what's going on, and since they're trying to sort of play off the motifs of this earlier movie, they don't really set a lot of parameters. They don't set a lot of movie parameters, and we like movie parameters, right?
I mean, you have to, as humans.
When the person walks up and gives him the case he's going to have to deal with, we want to understand what that case is.
But not only do I want to understand what the case is, I want to know why they're coming to him for that case.
Well, we know why. The person who's bringing him the case knows why, and so we as the audience know why.
Right.
Because he's the rube, and so he's the guy
why
they're using.
Does he accept it then? You know what I mean? Because there is that fun moment where he's like, I'm not really qualified. Can I get back to you? And it's like, well, why?
Oh,
why?
Well, in like the next scene, he has an epiphany about the whole tree thing, and then he decides to take it because you have to have the movie go forward.
He does have a tree epiphany.
Yeah. So the problem with this movie is the goals are so ill defined. They're presented to you as if they're defined goals, but they're so ill-defined that you're never quite sure how anyone is doing it. You know, you're never sure why he's doing something or how he knows something or what.
Yeah, as an actor, you're always like, what's my motivation for the scene? Which I hate, and that's dumb, whatever. But as a character, I do want to know motivations a little bit. And it was all very murky to me. Just everyone in this movie is a little bit murky because I don't know if anyone's clearly defined.
Yeah, what's his name is Turanowski is the head of the city council. The head of the city council.
Oh, Stephen Tobolowsky.
Yeah, he's great.
Tobolowsky. How do I say his name?
I know what the character's name is. I don't. Right?
Okay, well,
actors' names don't really mean anything. Who cares? They're just actors.
Fair. You're right.
Right? It's the role that is what matters.
Yes, of course.
When they're all dead,
the role.
All the useless actors are dead. The roles will continue, and that's what'll be important.
Sadly, you're correct. Yeah.
okay, so our guy is ill-defined. The goals are ill-defined. What people want is ill-defined. Who the people are is ill-defined. And
Yeah.
we have lines that sort of move the, if you put a flow chart out there, there's lines that move everything
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. No, that's how they made the movie for sure. Is they had a big board and they were like, this needs to happen in this scene to motivate this, and this. And it's like, we don't really need to fill in those gaps. You just need to hit this one thing that moves it along.
Yes. And so at certain times, we're doing the overlapping dialogue and we're dumping all this sort of dialogue, and it a lot of it just doesn't hit to everybody's sort of in their own movie in a sense in this movie.
Yeah.
And that can work. It didn't. That part did not work for me.
I don't know if it works when everyone is in a different movie. Sure. When one person is, it can be fun, add a little color and add a little like, what is this person doing here? I'm so intrigued. But when everyone kind of feels chaotic within this world, it's too much. It's too much. I think maybe Chris shouldn't have acted in his first directorial experience.
His character is the weakest of the characters, I think.
Yet still very funny.
I mean, he's fine, but he has to go a lot of distance. So at one point in the movie, he's breaking up with his girlfriend or losing his girlfriend, and he has to go from losing his girlfriend to being okay with it, like in the course of like 90 seconds. And you're just like, there's a lot of whiplashy kind of things where you're like, we're resetting this whole relationship right here. And then we have to move on with the plot. And it's like, we didn't need to reset that. We could have like maybe let a character exist in a space for a little while.
Let it breathe a little. Sure.
But we don't do that.
No. We got to go. This isn't about characters, right? This is about a mystery.
And it should have been about characters, and it shouldn't have been about a mystery.
Well, there is one well-defined character in the movie that we haven't mentioned, and that is, of course, Los Angeles.
Oh.
I am convinced Chris Pine loves Los Angeles, which is endearing, but also kind of weird. I think he grew up here because I think his dad was in the biz. I think.
Oh, okay.
I should have done a little research before I just throw stuff out, but I'm pretty sure that he grew up around it. So he probably has a different view than a lot of us that are very jaded now. And he just has, it seems like a pure love for the city. And I appreciate that. But I also wonder how that feels not knowing much about Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Like as an outsider, do you care? Are you annoyed? I don't know.
Well, it becomes at a certain point like the the SNL sketch.
The Valley thing, 405 to the 105 to the 10 to the yeah.
I had it in my brain and then it disappeared.
Sorry, I talked.
Yeah, but there's a whole sketch that they have where it's just people from Los Angeles that are talking about where they have to drive to get from one point to another, which is how Los Angeles is.
Yeah, and it's very funny when you're in on the joke.
Yes.
I don't know how those things land when you're not in on the joke, because Los Angeles is already very siloed, very cliquey, and I think people, in this part of the country look down on Los Angeles, as they should, because we're all a bunch of elite douchebags. So I just wonder when that's also thrown in your face, how that feels. I don't know.
It's too much.
Yeah.
He has this one running bit about Descanso Gardens that he has. I've got tickets to Descanso Gardens.
Now, Dan,
and hold on. Let me finish because
I have a question.
I have to insult you about this.
Okay. I'm so sorry I interrupted. Please continue with the insult. How dare I?
He continues to hit this as if it means something, like 4, maybe 5 times. And it's a classic Tony bit where it's the audience doesn't laugh the first time or the second time or the third time or the fourth time, and then the show is over and everybody goes home and it's like, what was with that guy in the Descanso Gardens?
Every once in a while, you hit it right at the end and it comes around. And when you win them over, Dan, It makes all of the times you don't win them over worth it. Because then you can be like, yeah, you idiot. It was you. You were the problem, not me. So it's worth it.
So maybe Chris Pine directing his first movie and not realizing that the Descanso Gardens just never worked.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Did you really?
Yeah. How about that?
No,
How does that feel,
you
Dan?
did not. You did not laugh bigger each time he said Descanso Gardens. You did not.
No, but I think I laughed once.
Well, there it is.
I think I did. I think I laughed once. I have a question. Is it because I also say Descanso Gardens, but he's saying Descanso the whole movie?
It doesn't matter to me.
Was that funny? Is that
funny?
correct?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I think part of me wasn't laughing at any of those jokes because I was genuinely confused. I was like, is he saying it as like a funny character pronunciation of a word? Have I been saying it wrong for 12 years? I don't know. And so then I was deep into that thought. I wrote down 4 notes, and that's one of the notes I wrote down is how do I say Descanso Gardens? I don't know.
Descanso. I think it's Descanso Gardens.
I think so too. Descanso sounds dumb. I don't know.
Sounds different, but I did not even notice that he was saying it different. Didn't bounce off me.
Yeah,
because I knew what he was talking about, and so I had my brain just skipped over his bit.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's a bit. Okay, bit. And that's, I think that says everything about the movie. That bit kind of says everything. That's my problem with the movie is he doesn't ever really move in and rest inside of the thing.
Yeah.
And you may hate Coen Brothers movies, but those characters go and they will sit in the characters. Jerry Lundegarden, when he's doing the VIN numbers on the paper, he's doing that. He is sitting there, scratching those numbers in there. When the 2 killers are driving in the car, they're driving in the car and you're in their existence. This never felt like a true existence to me, that it felt like I need to get all of this out, as opposed to really when you have the iguana talking and you have the tree and he's obsessed over the tree, he's crying over the tree. I'm like, this is too much. There's just too much. Make him obsessed with Aaron Brockovich and lose all this tree stuff, because none of the psycho threads ever come together because each individual one isn't given enough time to really rest in them.
Well, it's only an hour 40 minutes plus your credits. So really it's hour 35. I mean, there's not a ton of room to live in it because we also have this unraveling mystery that is, I don't know, wild, I guess. But
it has a lot of locations.
Yeah, they're running all over Los Angeles talking about how pretty it is.
So he pulls out the Walkman. He's testing the chlorine. He's listening to opera. He puts on bicycle gloves. He, zenly moves it across the thing when there are no leaves. It's like, it just doesn't feel like pool cleaning. It feels like you'd be like,
looks good.
It feels like artifice. It doesn't feel like he is existing in this thing, right? He needed to have a real 1 hour routine of cleaning this pool, of getting in and scrubbing the sides, and let's see this. But he wants to make this dance of running.
He just skims the top,
pick up one leaf, and there's no trees, so
right.
I want to see a hamburger wrapper go. He'll wake up. There's a hamburger wrapper, and he's like,
"That's what would happen." In this rundown area, it would be trash.
There'd be trash.
There are no trees. There's no trees. Right? We're in a drought, so the pool's already sus to me. I'm a little confused on that.
Yep.
Because he's very pro water and fighting about the drought a little, but then he's running this pool all the time,
maintaining a pool which is evaporating, and
very confusing to me. Mm-hmm. But also the pool's not dirty at all.
Nope.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It felt weird. I don't know. I took care of my pool. My dad would disagree, but I took care of my pool as a child growing up. Like in high school and college, I would, I'd put in the chemicals and I'd clean it and stuff. And I'm sure, I didn't do it enough. Well, okay, Dad, but I still did it. It was always something to do. The sides get some dirt on them and some rust on them. So you got to take the brush and go down, You skim the top, get the leaves. You clean out the skimmers because, moles and stuff get in there. Like there's a lot of stuff you can do because pools do get dirty. This pool wasn't dirty.
It wasn't dirty. And
it's weird.
And his efforts didn't feel like effort. I'll always remember I used to work for an art moving company, and there was like this one big thing down in Santa Monica. I think it was Santa Monica. And it was like this private foundation. I don't remember what it was called. And one day we were delivering a piece of artwork there. And there was like the head guy that worked there. Then he had the sub guy that worked there. They were both on their hands and knees in this giant space, wood, I think it was wood floors. And they were rubbing off every scuff mark from the day before. This does not need to be done.
Yeah, 100%.
But they were. This was a location where it was a cathedral to art, and they wanted, if you left
perfect.
they wanted it perfect. They I'm sure they came out with the white paint and took care of every little mark, every couple of days. This is, and I didn't. I that's what he was trying to say. This guy was.
Yeah,
but I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it from the guy.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Which immediately, we're meeting the guy. We need to believe this part of him. I didn't believe it.
I agree 100%. The only thing that I will say is he looked good without a shirt.
And he wore those terrible shorts all the time. Oh, God, I hated those shorts so much.
I loved them. He looks great. That's all that matters.
So he does some underwater meditation. He has a typewriter, I think, every day or every other day or every week.
I think it's every day.
Every day sends a letter to Erin Brockovich. She should have been in the movie. Just saying.
Do you think maybe they didn't have enough money?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then he has sex with his girlfriend, Susan, and then they start talking, and then they talk at cross purposes. She's interested in moving the relationship forward. He's not. He's working on a documentary. She dated a guy named Samir. Wisconsin
who's dead?
That plot line I did not begin to understand.
Chicken Samir is dead. That's I don't know. It was very strange. And there's when she, spoiler alert, when she starts going with Wayne or whatever, she is like, before we do anything, I want to make sure you have room in your heart for Samir. I was so confused on what's happening.
Because she was still in love with Samir.
Who's
the character
dead?
We never met, and we don't.
Well, he's dead, Dan. He's a dead guy.
Understand anything about this character, And I mean, that's the thing about this movie is, you could do a second movie where it's just her and her, what she's going through, and it's like, okay, well, but I don't want to see that movie.
Yeah, they're not going to make a sequel. Yeah.
She leaves. He gets a package. It's a calendar. He puts the calendar up. He's helping. So Danny DeVito is Jack or Jackie, and then what's her name is Diane, Jackie Diane. Annette Bening,
little ditty,
who's amazing. She's amazing. And they're packing up the trunk, and they go to the city council. DeVito's filming. He's fighting to bring back the red trolley, or to change the bus system, or I don't know.
Why?
Don't know.
He doesn't. Does he ride the bus? He doesn't seem to ride it.
Don't know. They needed it to make it one thing.
Sure. Yeah, one thing is great.
It should have been the red trolley. The red trolley has to come back. Boom. Then we're like, okay, we understand. But he's throwing out 7 things, and we're just like, I don't understand. Yeah. And then this guy Wayne shows up, and he brought him coffee, and then he flirts with Diane. And then there's these 2 Miami Vice guys sitting behind them. And then Toranowski's the head of the city council, and he and Dare are in they butt heads.
Yeah. Why?
Because he comes and wants something
I understand
that we don't
why
understand.
The head guy would be annoyed, right? Because this guy just clearly comes down every week or month or whenever you hold these meetings and just talks over his time and annoys everybody. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm confused.
Well, we do not understand. What you want in movies is you want to have an understanding of what does the character want.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the red trolley to come back, to which Taranowski should say, the red trolley is never coming back,
right?
Because there's no space for it. No space must be, you need that. It never feels like it's life or death to him. These things that he's acting like are life or death to him.
Yeah, because he's like an activist. And if you're just listening, I put quotes around activist because he feels like one of those guys that just does these things because that's what he does. Yeah, lip service. You know, it's just like, I should be doing this, so I'm just going to do it. I don't know. I'll just pick a cause of the week, like a Monster of the Week episode. Those are always the worst.
Monsters of the Week, that's the greatest show format that exists.
No, you want the through line. Listen, Supernatural does it right?
Through lines are stupid.
No, what did you just say to me?
Through lines are stupid. I want a show that I can just turn on.
I'm going to come into this screen. I'm going to punch you in the Dan.
You see, in Supernatural, they're fighting the big bad.
The first season
17 chemicals
is
to kill
90% MOWs, Monsters of the Week, right? But then they throw in like tiny hints that there's something bigger every once in a while to keep you going. And then as they go along, gradually less Monster of the Week, more through line, and it's a nice blend.
Wow,
that's how you do it. You wean off the Monsters of the Week.
Well, as we got that settled, So he gets in
fight you.
He gets in a big fight, and then
punches the security guard guy.
And I guess this happens off screen. He punches the security guard and knocks out his tooth, and then gets in trouble with the law or something.
Dude, I don't know.
He's back to swimming. He has another dream, and he has this. There's a tree. Now, the problem with the dream or the meditation is that the tree is shown as just tree branches and the sun in the distance. And then he always sort of represents it as like this solid, full tree.
Uh-huh.
And that bothered me the whole movie.
Well, yeah, because it feels like a midwinter tree, but not in winter. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't have the innards of a tree. It looks like a tree that's lost all of its love.
There it is. Boom, boom, boom. Susan calls him, and they try and talk about their life, and it doesn't go anywhere. Now this woman shows up, June Del Rey. She says she's the executive assistant to Taranowski, the head of the city council. Did we ever see her in that scene?
No, as far as I didn't rewatch it, but this is the first time I'm seeing this woman for sure.
And we find out that she bailed him out of jail, and we're like, he was in jail, I guess, for a thing we didn't see him do.
Right.
And then we never touch any of that. You get bailed out. That means you're going to have a court case. All these things are going to happen.
Nah.
We ignore all that.
Yeah.
She needs her help doing something. I'm not sure what.
I'm also not sure what. And so you had your problems with the movie. My biggest problem is I felt kind of lost the whole time. Mm-hmm. And when I get lost, I get bored because I'm not invested in what you're doing. You're doing things, Chris Pine, but I don't really care what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And if Danny DeVito, if Jack and Diane aren't in the movie, I'm checking out early.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
June, not great.
No, not great. No.
I don't know. Not bad, but not great. You're just like, oh, okay. She's like some woman stepped out of a 40s movie. Okay.
Right, which is, what they're going for, the old noir femme fatale or whatever, but... There's no take on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So he kind of refuses her offer. Now he's getting psychoanalyzed by Diane while Jackie is talking to his agent, trying to get back into making movies, I guess. Or film or TV
I don't know.
or something.
Yeah.
And then Jackie makes them all egg creams, and they all drink egg creams. And I'm just like, you can't do egg creams when whatchamacallit has White Russians.
White Russians,
You
yeah.
just-
I think
you
we all
can't
agree
do
on that. It's too similar.
Yeah.
If you went, I understand, we should do a drink, because it's an homage or whatever. But you can't do a drink that looks identical, even though I'm sure it's different. I don't know what the difference between those two drinks are because I don't drink, so I don't know what a White Russian is. But they're both, white drinks, white, thick, gross looking drinks.
Yeah, I think a White Russian is Kahlua and something. I think it's like maybe Kahlua.
Great.
Or maybe it's milk and I don't know what it is.
Everything you're saying sounds gross.
But egg creams are not alcohol. They're just
I figured that. I don't know what it is.
It's like an old soda fountain thing. If you'd gone to the soda fountain in the 40s or 50s,
Never been.
You get an egg cream.
All
exactly. Right. I barely know what they are, and I'm very old. They watch Chinatown. They determine that LA is a desert. And then Dar goes to this hotel to go see June because I guess he had followed her back to her place, so he knows where she lives.
Weird reveal because she asks him how he found her. He says, "Oh, it's a feeling," and then later admits that he followed her. Why didn't we just see him follow her?
Because we only have an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Too
much. We don't want to waste any time.
Once again, we're not really we're putting all this sort of stuff out of the movie, and then we're talking about it, and it's I don't know, it's weird. He brought her gifts and sets up this what he says is origami, but it's not origami. Another thing that annoys me: origami is origami. What origami is you take a piece of paper about this yay big, what is that, like 6 inches by 6 inches, and you fold it up. He had these whole things that had lights in them, and that's like paper craft, which is very different.
We took an origami class. You remember that?
We did. Yes.
Yeah, it was fun.
What did I do in that origami class?
Oh, boy. Now, I shouldn't have brought it up. I don't remember it that well. It was during the pandemic, and we all did it on Zoom. It was really fun. What did you do?
What
Something rude?
Of course. What other friend did we have with us?
Elko. We had Elko in there, who you're not a very nice guy to.
What did I do to poor Elko?
Did you make fun of him?
Roasted
of course
him
you made fun of him.
Roasted him unmercifully because he was having a hard time doing the work.
So he's already struggling to do the origami art, and you're just bullying him. I mean, of course I don't remember this. I probably closed it out of my mind. So,
like we should cry for Elko, who's in like Thailand right now, living in like the.
Oh, is he?
Like he's like going to be a vampire or something. They were like taking teeth impressions of him,
right? And
then he showed like the spread at the hotel, the food. Holy moly! He's living so large.
I have always thought that he looked like a vampire, though.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's got the hairline for it.
Little creepy one.
Yeah, well, he's pasty.
Pasty bastard. He talks to her about the tree, and then she does tarot, but not really. She just pulls out one tarot card and is like, "You're the magician." And you're like, what?
Not how that works.
They go out to dinner. She used to act, but her passion is costuming. He brings up his girlfriend, and then she's like, "Can I trust you?" And then it's like, I don't what? And then he's like falling in love with her?
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
No, I don't know.
That's all I had. That's all I had. Just, you get it. You get it. You're a red-blooded man. You get it.
He has another one of his weird dream visions, meditations. Then
now, just because, we don't talk about it too much, I don't understand the dreams, Dan.
What do you understand?
Why?
Oh, because they're in Coen Bros movies.
Okay. Do they usually make more sense? Okay. Well, as long as he's doing it right, then.
Yeah, just in whatchamacallit, in Lebowski, he has like that one dream about women and bowling.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't think it adds anything, but it's a thing you can do.
It's a
I
thing.
guess
It's a thing you can do. All right, great.
It's a way of trying to add meaning.
Well, because his kind of does help him solve the puzzle, which is confusing. Like he's already subconsciously thinking about water in the trees. I don't know.
Yeah. They're in Chinatown, Jackie and Dare. Jackie tells this weird story about children's theater and a key in Cape Cod, and he goes to the hotel, and there's a bunch of hash there, and he has a good time, and you're like, okay, that's an interesting story.
I didn't understand the story at all.
They see Tarnowski, they give chase. They're using walkie-talkies. They make a squelch joke. Did you catch that squelch joke, Tony?
I don't think I did. Did they just say squelch?
Yeah, it said squelch.
Sure, great.
Yeah, because didn't we talk about squelch a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, no, we've definitely talked about the word squelch. Yeah.
So I enjoyed that.
Of course you did. Hey, there's something for everybody.
They follow Tarnowski to Santa Anita, then all the rest of the people show up. The one guy, Wayne, has a gun, and he's like going to shoot them because they have a gun. It's very weird.
I don't know.
He brings coffee, and he gets kind of shit on by Dare because Dare like chooses to always shit on him, even though later on in the movie he says,
"Is it because it's like a Starbucks type coffee?"
I don't know.
I don't know because he keeps saying every time he gets a coffee, he's like, "Where's this from, Wayne?" As if that matters.
And then Wayne doesn't tell him, and so we don't understand what the joke is. So there's something goes on between the Miami Vice guys and Tarnowski, the head of the city council. So we're like, okay, it might be maybe they think it's a payoff. Who knows? We go back to the tiki, back to the motel, and we find out that Wayne and Susan had made love, and so they break up.
Yeah, I like this scene. Yeah.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Why'd you like the scene?
I enjoy the scenes where Chris Pine is a bystander in his own scenes a little bit, where like he kind of talks and nobody listens, and he feels very like lost, and he kind of has these internal things where he's like, "Why I'm here? Why is nobody listening to me?" And I don't know. I like watching him go through some stuff. As obviously the character's not as defined as it should be, but there are moments where I'm like, I see what you wanted to do with it, and I would have loved it. I think I would have really, really liked it if we got there for the whole thing.
And scenes like this feel overscripted.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
We don't need so much. We need acting with lines. Do some acting with lines. That's what I want.
More lines. Just do more lines.
So he ends up being happy for them, and they say, and we're moving to Palm Springs.
Yeah, is that a joke?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I didn't know what it was.
We're thinking about moving to Palm Springs. So I was like, that's what an interesting thing to happen in my life right now, watching a movie that's talking about moving to Palm Springs.
Why would you move to Palm Springs?
It's cheaper. We can afford it.
Do you have a job in Palm Springs, Tony?
No, but not that we don't need to talk about my finances here. But when I get laid off, she could afford a condo in Palm Springs by herself.
Your wife could afford a condo in Palm Springs by herself? What does that mean?
Like without my monetary help. It's a place that we could go that's close enough to continue with our lives here, but she could do it without my help as much at first because I'd have to find a new job.
You're confusing me. We'll talk about this offline.
Okay.
Dare writes there, Brockovich again. He tends pool, he meditates, and then he sees an iguana, and the iguana's like, remember the tree, remember the tree, remember the tree.
So like he's already solving a mystery that we don't even know exists. You know what I mean? That's weird. That's a weird order to do things. I would love to be in on the mystery just a little bit and be like, I would love to figure it out with him. but I never feel like I'm part of the game. I'm not part of this mystery because I don't know what the mystery is yet.
Yeah, I don't know. So June shows up. She was just visiting her dying mother. She hugs him. I need you. I can only trust you. They kiss. And then she leaves. And he's stricken because he was all like, thought it was going to go further.
Go a little further.
He pulls out the photos that he took at Santa Anita, and he realizes that the two guys are the guys from the calendar that he just got in the mail. So I thought that meant that the dudes were actors.
Well, or models.
Or models.
Right.
But I think that calendar ties to someone else, and if we knew what that calendar was, we'd know who
maybe it would
tied
help
them to.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That calendar is so obliquely shown to us that nothing about that calendar registers other than it's the exact same two guys and they are looking like they're models as opposed
Which is
to
very confusing
very
to
confusing.
Me. I
don't know. So he goes to Theodore Hollandaise's office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he goes there.
Well, we don't know. That's true.
Do we find out?
Not really. Listen, I'm not a smart guy. So this movie, I was pretty confused until they just tell me what the story was at the end. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure that's the story you've been telling for an hour 40? Because I'm not totally convinced.
So it turns out that Theodore Hollandaise buys property, and then looks like he's working with Ray, what's his name, whose name is Butch in the movie.
Butch.
And then he's a developer of this Venice housing project, or maybe they're not the developers.
Something,
not quite sure.
Yeah.
And then they do some handshaking, and then he goes into Holliday's place. And the Miami Vice guys work for the developer of what might be the Venice housing department, or might not. Might not be that. And then in the office, he comes in there and he's like, the dude's like, make yourself at home. And then he comes over there and he sits in the chair, and then he starts doing all this prop work with a suitcase. Do you want to talk about the prop work with the suitcase, Tony?
I mean, you put me on the spot here. I didn't have a lot to say because you watch it and you're like, why is he doing this? At what stage were they all sitting in this room and they're like, you know what you should do? You should just kind of just mess around with it during the whole scene so that while people are watching it, all they're thinking about is, what the fuck is he doing right now? Why is he doing this? I don't even know what is said in this scene for the most part, Dan. Like, I'm so distracted because I just want to know what's going on, what he's deciding in his head. The actor, not the character. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you doing this?
Our buddy Harrison had this bit he did as a magician. He would come on stage with a case, and he'd put the case down, and he'd open the case, and then the case would start. He'd be dropping stuff, and then at a certain point, the case goes everywhere. And it's a very funny sketch. It's very funny because the magic becomes secondary to this guy's trouble that he's having with the case.
Right.
And that's what the scene is. We're like, make it about the case. Just, right. If that's what you want it to be about.
There's so much of it at this point that if it's the fact that it's not about the case fucks me up for the rest of the scene. Like it's tough.
Shit, goddamn, what's the I have a president here for and that if this movie had just done that and just had had left the plot behind and just because I guess that's my problem with the movie is at times this movie has the right instincts because that case is the right instinct. That's a better scene than the scene that I watched. 1,000,000%. I'm not interested in the scene I watched.
Very funny. You know what I mean?
And this guy's, and you could have this guy at the same time telling his story, which was one of the better stories, which is that, he came out here to be an actor, and then it all fell apart. And then he saw a sign and it said, "We buy houses for cash."
Yeah.
And then he's like, he called them, got a job there. And then he's like, and now I'm the voice on the other end of that line.
Yeah, sure.
And this point at which the case pops open, he pulls out the thing and he's like,
gotcha.
What was the story you just, okay, can you do that story again? Right. And then he gets thrown out, right? Yeah. So we're getting the information. He does nothing and gets thrown out. Okay, this is a scene I want to see. This is a scene that should be in this movie.
It almost is.
It almost is. And then he says, the dude says, "You've got it all wrong." And he's like, "Go to the Moody Mule." Taranowski's hiding a secret. We're like, okay. He goes to the Mule, and there's Taranowski on stage doing the Golden Girls
live
as a drag queen.
Yeah.
And I believe Drew Droege was one of the other Golden Girls.
Yeah. No, I think that's the actual cast of Golden Girls Live. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, really?
Plus, I don't know if Steven. I assume Steven's not usually one of them.
Okay.
But you know what? Let's just look it up.
Oh, so they do that. They do that show.
Yeah. No, this is a real show in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Great.
For sure. Facebook page. I just wanted a cast, guys. Why is nobody giving me a cast?
Because it's too hard, It
does look like, Dorothy's for sure the same person. So yeah, I think this is the real cast.
So wait, he's in it. Taranowski, or the actor.
He is not a normal part of it.
Okay,
no. So I think he's subbing in for somebody.
Slotted him in.
Yeah. Anyhow,
yeah,
fun little thing, and this leads to my favorite scene of the movie.
It's the absolute best scene in the whole movie. He goes backstage, and it's a dressing room. He bursts in, and they sort of get into it, and then we find out that Taranowski's living this sort of double life, and he's afraid to tell his family. And Chris Pine's character Dare is just like, I wouldn't do this. This is who you are.
It's a wonderful pivot, though, because when you first see Chris Pine character watching it, he's shocked, and you're like, uh-oh. Like, maybe it was just me, but my first reaction was like, uh-oh, is he going to be like surprised and like, this is not right? I had that moment just because, America.
Because we're programmed to have that moment.
Right. And I was worried. And then it was the complete opposite. He was like, no, this is the most interesting thing about you. Why would I ever ruin something like that? Like, this is wonderful. Do that. However, I think you're a bad guy, which I thought I loved it. I thought it was a really wonderful.
Then he does the plot and the dude is like, no, that you're wrong. You've got it all wrong. And it's really an emotional scene, and it's an emotional scene because they both have stakes in this, and they both care about what they're saying. And Chris Dare is engaged in so many of the other scenes. I'm here. At this point, he's with this other character, and I'm like, oh wow, look at this! It
reminds me, Dan. Oh, sorry. No, go.
Two great characters interacting. And being emotional and having stakes in a scene. And you're like, wow, look at this. What happens when you put two great actors with stakes in a scene where they get to act with each other. I got emotional. I was like, this is great.
It's where they get to care about each other a little.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Two characters that were at loggerheads. And if these characters had been at real loggerheads, the whole thing about stuff we understood, then when they come together, this would have been
been even better. Yeah,
it could have been even better, and it's a great scene already.
So a lot of this movie reminds me of being in an improv class, like an early stages improv class, where you always have the one person, which I was very guilty of when I first started, that likes to stand back and comment. You know what I mean? Like they're not a part of the scene, but they are, they're saying jokes, they're contributing, but they are always separate from the thing. And then in the class, at some point, something clicks in someone, and then they do a scene where they're invested and they care, and you're like, holy shit, this is it. this is what we wanted this whole time. Hold on to that. And then they don't. That's what this whole movie reminds me of. And this is the scene where it finally clicks and you're like, guys, start over. Keep this one scene and reshoot everything else because this is your North Star.
Yeah.
But they didn't. I assume they didn't have money to do that. But
no.
I don't know. That's what I was thinking when this scene came on. I was like, finally we hit what I think we've all been looking for this whole time.
And they talk about anxiety. He talks about writing to Aaron Brockovich, and he says it makes him feel less alone. And then he's like, I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And they say sorry, and then they say sorry to each other, and then they forgive each other. And then the funniest moment in the whole movie, he takes off his Golden Girls wig, and then he takes off his fake hair wig to show he's bald. And I'm like, whoever thought of that is fucking genius. Because it's just like, that's an unparalleled scene that's just like mask upon mask.
Exactly. Yeah. You're slowly burying your soul. Yeah. Yep. It's wonderful.
They do a hug. And then
he dies.
Then he gets shot.
Yeah.
And then the bad guys throw the gun at him. And I was just like, I'm going to ignore this part of it because tonally, when you kill someone in a movie, you've moved into a different area.
100%.
And I'm like, well, okay.
Shoot.
I don't know. I'm just going to kind of ignore it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Good for you. Put up those walls, Dan. Proud of you.
Because such a good scene, I don't want to get. Although
you don't want to sully it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, our two best characters. You just killed one of them, and then you've thrown a gun in there, so the other one's going to get in trouble for it. I'm like, oh, okay, I suppose.
All right, I guess back to this plot thing.
Then he's dying. He's like, follow the water. Okay.
Sure.
He runs from everybody, gets back, meditates in his now empty pool.
Right.
Then after that,
confused.
he meditates and has another sort of dream. Then he wakes up and he's in Jack and Diane's apartment. He's crying. He's scared. Jack's on the phone and he's talking to his agent, and the agent gives him an offer for a sitcom.
Right. Yeah.
But then he hears the story of what happened. He's like, now we have a third act. I'm like, okay, that's funny.
That's a funny line.
It's a good line.
I'm a little confused.
Why?
Like, why is he on the phone with his agent? What does this have to do with anything else that's happening? I don't know. It was just, I don't know.
Well, how they should have defined it is.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one who's obsessed with the documentary, right?
Sure.
So he's obsessed with making this documentary. So he's like, I'm calling my agent and I'm going to get in rooms so we can get the money to finish the film.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Sure.
And so then at this point, the agent's like, I don't want your stupid, he doesn't want our stupid film.
Yeah.
But he just offered me, shooting sitcoms for a bunch of money.
Which is, that's a perfect gig right now.
She gets Diane gets excited, and he's like, I told him no, because we're going to get this, he needs to be this guy that's like, we're going to get this movie done.
Yeah. The driving force of the doc. Yeah.
And then he hears the story of this thing, and then he's like, and now we've got our third act scene cut.
Yeah.
Boom. They've got the third act. But no, we talk about the water beneath the Venice project. And then we find out that there's a big aquifer under the Venice project, and they've been using this one truck that somehow a picture appears somewhere to steal the water.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Makes perfect sense, Dan.
So then he goes to June's to confront her that she set him up for whatever he was set up for. And then she says that Dutch Van Patterson is her father, and then the mother is dying. And then
you're doing great.
She kisses him, and then she leaves, and then he looks up there, and there's a big painting of the two of them, and it says that they're getting married. We're seeing that information, and somehow he does not see this information, and it doesn't go into his brain.
Well, also,
I don't understand.
Who has a picture that underneath is captioned "The future Mr. and Mrs. Yada Yada"? That's not a picture anybody has.
Especially if you're going to go kill your still living wife and you're the secret lover.
Right. No, that's damning evidence right there. It's so weird.
Also, since you're going to announce that information to us in the next scene.
Yeah, totally unnecessary. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. Why did she even tell him that was her dad?
To keep him on the reel.
I mean, I know it's a thing. It's the thing in Chinatown, but
yeah, I don't know. Are you tired? Are you exhausted yet?
Yeah. Then the police show up. He flees, puts on a thing, flees, escapes on a scooter. He goes to the mom's house, walks in, and they're trying to smother her with a pillow.
Yeah.
And then we learn that it's not really June's mom. She's the lover, and then they're going to be getting married once they smother her with a pillow.
Yeah, natural causes and all that.
How does that work?
I don't know.
Then we find out that what this is all about is there's water under the thing, and they've been trucking that water out to his almond farms, and that's what it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're great almonds,
And that's a whole comment of people that care about water conservation hate almonds because, it takes like 1,000 gallons of water to make one almond, and then takes 100,000 almonds to make 1 ounce of almond milk. And so that's why almond milk is reviled.
Oh, so that's bad too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what am I supposed to drink then, Dan? Because I can't drink cow milk. That's bad.
Why can't you drink? What's wrong with cow milk?
Well, because it's, because the cows aren't treated well, and then they release gases, and it's, destroying the ozone. So cow's milk is not good.
Almond milk, much worse. We'll drink water.
I mean, I always drink water, but I can't put water in my cereal, Dan.
Well, you can.
I wouldn't, because I'm not a crazy person. Okay.
Well, get some powdered milk. So wait, do you use almond milk?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a giant asshole.
I didn't know that was bad.
Oh,
I'm done.
Almonds are super terrible.
But here's the thing,
almond
right? Because
super terrible.
The silk dark chocolate almond milk is unbelievable. It's so good.
Why don't you just eat candy bars just melt down candy bars
together
and pour that over your cereal?
I'll take a nice bite of a nice Snickers and then finish it off with some delicious chocolate milk, Chocolate on all fronts.
Oh my God. So then he says to June, "I love you, and it won't be easy." You're like, why is he in love with her? I don't understand
no idea. It's so weird.
And she's like, "You're a simple person. People like me eat people like you." And then she's like, "This is not Chinatown. It's life." And you're like, "No, this is
not really.
This is less." Chinatown was more like how life is. Chinatown, you get to the end of Chinatown, and everybody's dead, and no one's suffering. The dad who's having sex with his own child is taking her away to continue to do everything he gets away. Nobody suffers any consequences in Chinatown.
Yeah.
That's reality.
That's all right. That's
totally
where life goes.
And then, boom, Wayne bursts in with a gun and shoots the gun out of the hand of the other guy. It turns out Wayne is an FBI agent, and he's been undercover. Yeah. And then somehow Jackie is in the room before them, and he's filming, and then he makes the FBI guy do the scene all over again.
Yeah. You missed the line. They gave you the Dan Goodsell line.
What was the line?
Because Chris Pine, or Darren, he asks, "How did Jack and Diane know?" And Wayne's like, "Well, I let them know so I could give you your ending." You
Yeah.
needed the ending to your movie, so I brought them along.
Oh no, why does the FBI guy have to do a thing again?
Oh, well, that would be Danny DeVito's fault, not Danny DeVito, the character Jack's fault. He just missed the shot, so he needed him to do it again. Happens all the time, Dan. Okay, especially during a documentary, things are happening in real time. Sometimes you're not in focus, and if you don't get that shot, you're screwed. It's the whole movie, Dan. So he's like, "I need you to take it over again."
He should have said no.
Wow, you're cold-hearted. If I'm ever making a documentary and I ask you to do something again, you better do it.
I only do it.
You better do it, Dan.
Tony, I only live real life once.
Live real life.
That's how I live my life once.
Okay, I'll live in the moment.
We find out that they're actually in love, and then Wayne says he's Derek's best friend, and then he remembers the tree. And I guess his mom left him under a tree and he was alone. And I don't know if she left him for good.
She did. Yeah, she abandoned him.
She did. Did they say that? Or they just imply it?
No, but that's like the vibes of the whole film. And then finally they're like, oh, yeah, no, I was left to my own devices. Yeah, it's like a sad thing. And I didn't think it needed it.
I didn't think it needed it either. And then we kind of do you find your own family sort of thing.
Yeah, found family.
Yeah.
Always great.
Okay. He writes another letter to Aaron Brockovich, which doesn't really mean anything. And then we cut to the city council. They play their movie at the city council. Jackie is with his agent, and the agent loves the movie. And then they talk weird numbers that I didn't understand. And then he's
they kiss on the lips.
Kiss on the lips. That was weird.
I thought it was fun.
And then the city council, we pull the lights up. They're all like, great movie. We love you. We're going to make you the policy supervisor of community, something, something, something. And then he's like, no, thanks. And then he turns around and starts addressing the audience about needing trolleys and different
the
bus
buses
maps.
again.
He's back to himself. He's not been spoiled by making the movie. He's still a crank.
He's still Poolman.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I kind of like it, but he should have talked about something new or something, we should have.
Sure. Yeah.
But it was like stuff we've already heard. It's like, oh, he's doing the same shtick. He hasn't gone anywhere.
Bit. Yeah. It's not a good movie. But it's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
It is so far from the worst movie you've ever. Yeah. We've just seen some of the movies that you want to poke your eyes out. It looked good. Yeah. Everyone looked good. Everyone acted good, except maybe the June girl.
Sure.
And there were a few good scenes, and there's a bunch of good ideas. And I do like your idea of a Coen Brothers movie that's not steeped in cynicism.
100%. That's what the world needs, Dan. More joy.
More joy.
We're all so jaded. Let's get rid of it. I can't. I'm too far gone. But maybe the next generation.
Anything else to say about this movie, Tony?
I just want to say that it got a lot of hate that I don't think it fully deserved because people were really mean about it. Like really, really mean about it. It's not a good movie. We all agree. But it's not a terrible movie. It's not a movie where I hate anybody and I get furious about it. It's like, okay, yeah, you tried some stuff. Some worked, some didn't. Try again. Try again because you're only going to get better.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel bad.
It looked good. They put camera in good places. It was lit well. The acting was great.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for Chris Pine because you got to be taking it to heart because this is the first time you've been more than just an actor on it. So it's more personal than normal.
Yes, you could feel that he wanted this movie so bad.
Yeah,
and you're like,
and then people were just like, "Well, you're shit. Everything's shit. Fuck you." It's sad.
So we're gonna say, give it another go, Chris.
Hell yeah, man! Don't let them get you down, brother. Go for it. Make another movie.
If you need a script doctor, we're here, man. We'll just be like,
If you need someone to kiss in the movie, you let me know.
Tony's available for kissing. That kiss is going to be more real than the kiss with the girl in this movie.
That's a given. That's a given on both parts. Because Chris will be excited. I'll be excited. We'll all be excited.
I have to do some bonus hate today.
Uh-oh. What'd you watch?
What I listened to.
Oh, you listen? Oh, boy.
There's a new Melissa McCarthy podcast, humor podcast. And it's like, I don't even know what it's called. It's like a Lord of the Rings comedy thing where she plays like not Conan the Barbarian. She plays the something.
Hildy the Barback and the Lake of Fire.
It is so bad.
Really?
It is so.
All right. Now I have to listen to it.
Now, did you ever?
You've made it, so now I have to listen to it. Thanks, Dan. Thank you so much.
Did you ever listen to the Zack Snyder podcast? The whatchamacallit?
No, I did not.
I tried that.
No, did you really?
You were like, what you need to do is make it just a little more softcore porn, and then maybe you'll find a real audience. It's like weird. You're like, oh man, I don't want to be walking around.
Listen, his stuff gets weirder and weirder.
You're like, because in the morning I have my phone and I don't have earbuds because I'm not going to give them money, and so I just play my podcast and listen to it
out loud while you're walking down the street.
Sister radio. And it's like if you're listening to that shit, you're like, whoa.
Turn this down here. Sorry, everybody.
It's so weird.
Oh God!
It's just like, but the Melissa McCarthy thing, you have to listen to it.
I'm going to.
I don't think I made it through the first episode. And then you like look down the cast list, and it's everyone in Groundlings. It's like Drew Droege, but it's like written by her husband Ben Falcone, and
okay.
I think that guy might not be funny at all.
Well, what else has he done? I know that he's like stuff with her. He
co-writes all those movies, all the new movies that are so bad. I mean, we haven't even done any of them. They're so bad. I
got to listen to this podcast. That's what I'm gonna do on my way to work all week.
If you make it through more than one episode, I'll be so impressed. It's just like.
That's just all I want. All I want is your approval, Dan. So I'll listen to the whole damn thing.
Here's like a person, they'll be like, "Here I am. Let me say what I'm going to say." It's like, oh Jesus Christ! So that's a bonus hate.
All right, bonus hate.
So I'll do a Tony pick of something I like this week because we watched this other show where it was this crazy BBC show. Oh man.
Okay.
I'll talk about that some other time. Oh, it's crazy. But there's new Oreo chocolate and peanut butter pie Oreos.
What?
This new Oreos, they're called chocolate and peanut butter pie Oreos. Basically, it's kind of a peanut butter cookie, and then it's like half peanut butter filling and then half like, classic chocolate filling.
I'm looking at them right now.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
They look great. All right. Well, I'm gonna find those.
So what do you got for us, Tony? Give us something good.
I got to go to Ralph's, Dan. I'll see you later.
Okay, good.
We watched Brian Jordan Alvarez's English teacher cover to cover last weekend in one day.
10 episodes, 12 episodes, 18, 22, 8 whole episodes.
30-minute episodes.
Wow, they give you a lot to watch nowadays, don't they?
Dan, it's amazing.
It's good?
It's really good.
Oh, okay.
It was delightful.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it. Full disclosure. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but it was really good. I'm really impressed and happy for him, and also hate him a little bit.
Is it getting some love? It seems like it has some adherence, at least.
It's gotten all positive reviews.
Oh, okay.
It has not yet been renewed, but we're all keeping our fingers crossed because I don't know how the ratings were, but everyone that watches it seems to love it. You know what I mean?
And who else? I mean, our buddy Adam was on there, right? He had like a little scene with Jimmy Fowley.
So
that was
Fowley's
him, right?
in a bunch.
Oh, wow. Great.
Stephanie Koenig's in it. Ken does an episode.
Oh, good.
And Strass does an episode.
But Adam was in that one scene, right?
That is not Adam.
That wasn't Adam?
It's not Adam.
Oh,
It
wow.
looks a lot like Adam.
Oh,
but
my God.
unless it's just not listed on IMDb yet, because I checked.
Oh, I thought that was him. I could be wrong.
Listen, I don't know.
Wow.
And yeah, but it's great. It's great. I would recommend it.
Okay, I'll try watching.
Yeah, at least give it a shot, because you'll know pretty quick if you're vibing it, because it's very Brian. It's very fast. It's very quick. It's very, so like you'll know if you're feeling it pretty quick.
Now, did you like AP Bio?
I did not like AP Bio, and I love Glenn Howerton, but I could never get into it.
And what about Abbott Elementary?
We watched the pilot, I think, and we were like, oh, this is fine. Yeah. And then we never continued.
Yeah. I watched maybe one episode and I was like, not for me.
Yeah.
So next.
But English Teacher's great. Everybody watch it.
Where is it? Where is it at?
I think you can find it on Hulu. I think that's where we watched it. Is that where it is?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
We're going back to the 80s next week, Tony.
Oh, my favorite decade.
Who do you love? Sean Penn?
I don't love Sean Penn, but I'll accept it.
The biggest pop star of the 80s? Madonna?
Huey Lewis? Oh, Madonna? Madonna?
What movie were those two characters in?
Sean Penn and Madonna? I have no idea. The only Madonna movie I remember is her and the Green Goblin. What's his name again?
The Green Goblin. What are you talking about?
The guy from Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Green Goblin.
What's his name?
He's so weird. I can't think of his name.
No, I can't think of his name. Shit. He was in Streets of Fire. And he was the Green Goblin. What's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
I am. Oh God, Willem Dafoe. Well, Jesus.
I was thinking Warren Christopher, but he was like Secretary of State, I think.
Oh, wait. Anyhow,
what
they had a
movie
movie. I think it was called Body of Evidence, and it was basically softcore porn. And
nice.
I snuck the VHS from my parents and watched it when I was a kid, and it was awesome. That's the only Madonna movie I know.
Now, you never saw Desperately Seeking Susan?
I did not.
Desperately Seeking Susan is actually a good movie, and then and it was a good movie, and it was Roseanne Arquette, and then Madonna was sort of the co-star, second main lead. And then right after that, they put her in another movie, and this movie is called Shanghai Surprise.
Can you call a movie that?
Is that like some weird sexual thing that I don't know about?
No, I don't know.
We're doing the Shanghai Surprise tonight.
It sounds sexual, doesn't it? I don't know.
A little bit.
All right.
So yeah, Shanghai Surprise. It came out. It was a complete dud. Everyone hated it, and I never saw it back in the day. And so I'm like,
I'm excited.
As a movie, this is a bad movie that I've never seen from the '80s, and so they spent some money on it. But I think it's like a romp. There are these two people are one's hot, one's cold, and they're forced to work together to do something or other in Shanghai in the 1920s. I think it's in the 20s or 30s.
Oh boy!
So it's like a period piece, and it's Madonna and it's Sean Penn, right when he was a young acting buck.
Sure, yeah, I'm sure he's quite handsome. And
couldn't find it.
I'm excited.
The only place to find it was on Fandango at Home. It was the only place you could buy it.
All right, that's not a good start for them.
And then it said it was on Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus,
can't find it.
I don't think so.
Can't find it. Okay, all right. Well, I'm ready.
Shanghai
this is going to be great.
Surprise. And
great
then
stuff.
In 2 weeks, we're going to start we're going to do a couple special episodes, which are called Guilty Pleasures, where each of us gets to pick a movie that we love that hopefully the other person's going to hate, and that also everyone in the world hates. And as Tony said, that is most of the movies that Tony loves.
Those are that's my prime movie love right there.
And that's it. If you like what we do, give us a thumbs up. We had a nice guy from Scotland whose name I don't have up right now. Just left us a nice comment about our show. Thank you. He's enjoying the show.
That Dan didn't feel the need to remember your name. Jesus, dude.
I can look it up, but that would involve me actually doing things in my life, and I'm
doing work. Oh, this is why nobody likes us, Dan. They say nice things, and we just shit all over them.
I left him a very nice comment. He lives near a lock. Do you know what a lock is?
Oh, I would love to live near a lock. That sounds beautiful.
What is a lock, Tony?
Isn't that just a lake?
Yeah, it's a lake.
Okay.
They call them up there in Scotland.
I know. I'm basically Scottish.
So yeah, leave us a comment and we'll respond to it terribly like this or.
So if you want to be sort of not really mentioned on the show, go ahead, write in, guys. It's going to be
great. He was like, hoping you guys get more people watching you. And I'm like, yes.
No, thanks, but we got you. That's all we need.
Not when we keep playing the game as terribly as we play it. Yeah. So comment, subscribe, or the other thing. There's three things you can
comment, subscribe. That's like a phrase that everybody knows now, Dan. You're falling apart on me, man. We got to wrap this episode up.
You know, I feel like every time I type in my password, I'm like, is this the time I'm not going to be able to remember it?
Am I locked out of everything for eternity?
Because sometimes I'll be like, we couldn't come up with Willem Dafoe's name. I don't know.
I know.
The Green Goblin guy. Nope.
That was pretty good.
Not in there. Okay, we'll be back next week. Thanks for coming along.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!